So this is something that you may not actually really sit down and think about, but I encourage you to process this. These 10 fragrances here are things that you're going to hear talked about forever, indefinitely. These are never going to go away. And yeah, we can say that and we're all probably like, yeah, that's true, that's cool, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But when you really sit down and think about it, the fact that these fragrances are going to live on forever as some Hall of Fame, best-selling, top men's fragrances, it really is kind of crazy, especially when we're living in a time where a lot of these have been released within the past 10 years, somewhere around in that range, most of these, sometimes quite a bit sooner. So it really is crazy to think about. We're watching all of this progress in real time. I mean, we're talking about some top tier stuff. And at the end of the day, if you have any sort of vested interest in this hobby, it's important to know about these because, again, you're going to hear about them all the time. It's nice to know what they smell like, so that way when you hear them talked about all the time, you can understand what people are actually talking about here. I remember when I first started out, these were getting tossed around all the time, and I had no idea what they smelled like, and it's not very fun. So I encourage you guys to give these a try if you haven't already. Most of you probably have, but I think they're all worth owning for own reasons in particular, and we'll cover that as we go with each of these here. But I mean, some serious Hall of Famers. So I will link these down below. You guys know the drill. Best deals ever, all over the place on the community tab, every day, multiple times a day. If you want to save the most amount of money possible on fragrances, you got to be on my community tab. You got to get subscribed. That's just, you just have to do it if you want to save money. All right, let's start off with Chanel Allure Homme Sport Extreme. Has tonka bean, mint, and some orange in here. I mean, I can still remember the hype train of this one like it was yesterday. And this was kind of really getting hit pretty hard when I first started out, going on about 5 years ago. It was really kind of starting to continue to pick up and do well and be hyped. And it was kind of known as one of those fragrances that would project really, really strong within the first hour of you spraying it on. And it was apparently like a compliment magnet. You spray it on within that first hour, you get compliments left and right. And kind of the idea behind that was after an hour, it does start to lay a little bit closer to the skin. For me, I get good performance out of it overall, but it does definitely have the best projection when you first apply it. And at first, I didn't really fully understand the hype. You know, this is back when I was first starting out. I smelled it. I thought it smelled nice, but it took me a while. And now, after smelling a whole bunch of other things, I see why this one is special, and it is definitely a Hall of Fame scent. Next up, we have Light Blue Eau Intense by Dolce & Gabbana. It's got sea notes, amber wood, some orangey kind of notes in here, some juniper. So it's a little bit sweet, a little bit ambroxan leaning, kind of ambergris smell, very aquatic and kind of salty. You know, it's a great, fresh, wearable, uplifting, fun, and clean aquatic scent for men that has exceptional performance, especially compared to the Eau de Toilette version. If you're looking for a light blue and you're between the original or the Eau Intense, Eau de Parfum, I would go with this one any day of the week. Now you also have Light Blue Forever and Italian Love, and there's many other flankers as well. But at the end of the day, I still think the Intense version is worth owning. It's just one of those things that you can wear it for so many situations that it kind of pays for itself. Now, if you want ultimate versatility for work, for school, for going out, for fun, for play, whatever, Prada L'Homme is a very, very nice option for you. Now, this one here, it's going to have iris, neroli, violet, and amber. It's all about the iris in here, of course. It's a fresh, clean, soapy iris, which is quite opposite to something like Dior Homme Intense, which is a powdery, more dusty, sweet, and sticky iris. So we're looking at different things here. Much fresher overall and much more versatile, Prada L'Homme. That's what I like about it, and I think that's part of the reason why it did so well and is still doing so well. It's a big hype monster. It's definitely going to go down in history as one of the most successful men's designer fragrances ever, and a lot of it is because of that sheer versatility and mass appeal. You know, at the end of the day, you can wear this for literally anything, and you can't say that about the overwhelming majority of stuff out there. Even the popular stuff like Eros and Spicebomb, people do wear them for most situations, but it's not always going to work the best in summer or something like that, going to the beach, right? This one just kind of works for everything. And if we're talking about Hall of Fame, just ultimately very popular scents, we have to throw in everyone's favorite, Sauvage. And this is the eau de toilette, just because this is what started it, of course, started this line anyway. And it's got ambrox and bergamot, black pepper. I love Sauvage, and I feel like most people, especially with the channel, you know, that has a relative amount of success, probably aren't going to want to admit that, but I have no problem with saying that I love how Sauvage smells. Still to this day, I have access to any fragrance that I want. And that's not meant to be like, oh, I'm bragging or anything, but you guys know I have a channel, I do this. Like, I've got so much stuff back here, I still have stuff in boxes. Whatever I can think of, I can access. But I still love Sauvage. There's no denying that this DNA simply just works. It's versatile, it's mass-pleasing. This eau de toilette is a beast mode, 10+ hour performing scent. You cannot go wrong with this one. And if you think that this isn't a Hall of Famer, you're just lying to yourself. Now, if you want to spend a little bit more money, you can go with something like this. And I think this is super cool. And I've talked about this before in the past in videos, just in passing, on how well this one is done and how big of a handprint that this has left in the community, even though it's a much more expensive scent in comparison to everything else in here, especially at retail, and we'll talk about that, but it's Parfums de Marly Layton. So think about it, you know, discounters $240, something like that. Retail, what, $300-400? Who even knows, right? But discounters is the only way to go when buying a Parfums de Marly, or really any fragrance in general. But you can save a ton of money. And even at that discounted price, it's still a lot of money for a cologne at the end of the day. But yet this one is still carved its own little niche into the fragrance world. And it is so well known. It's like a household name, Layton. You know, when you talk Parfums de Marly, you immediately think of Layton. When you think of a nice fall, wintertime niche scent, you think of Layton, right? It's just one that's always comes up, and it has definitely made its mark in the community. And, you know, not for nothing, it's a great smelling scent. Apple, vanilla, cardamom, lavender, a complete stunner. I think this stuff is top tier. It's a great performer, great quality, very, very suited for the fall seasons just because of the note breakdown that's in here. You know, kind of has a warm, cozy, spicy smell. You just can't go wrong with it. Now, this one here is discontinued, which is a big bummer. Prada Luna Rossa Black. It's got tonka, amber, musk, angelica, but really it's all about the tonka and amber. We're not going to get too advanced here. Tonka bean, dusty powderiness, a little bit of a silky smooth ambery sweetness, and that's basically it in a nutshell. Bits and pieces of musk and a little bit of a green touch, but really what I just said before that is what describes this one. It's a very classy smelling scent, even though it is very sweet leaning. You know, it's not to the point of, again, not to pick on this fragrance, but like an Eros or a Spicebomb EDT. Two fragrances, by the way, that I think are absolutely incredible, but much more playful. This one is able to kind of dip its toes into a sweet genre, but yet still maintain a kind of a more mature and refined, sophisticated smell. And I think that's really cool. It sucks that they discontinued this one. However, it was kind of written on the wall. This smells similar to Midnight in Paris, discontinued, and also Bulgari Black, discontinued. This DNA simply is just not mainstream, and so it was never really destined to do that well in the vast majority of the real world. So I'm surprised it even lasts this long. You can still get it. I will drop a link down below. I encourage you to do so. Next up, Armani Code Absolu, tonka, vanilla, suede, and a little bit of orange. This is a great, great addition to the Code lineup and simply one of the best. If you're looking at picking up two Armani Codes, I would go with this and Armani Code Parfum. Those are great. Profumo right up next to that. Amazing, amazing scents. but I still think this one here has really kind of grown a very devoted fan base. I am one of those fans. I just think that all around, this is one of the best flankers that have come out of the entire line. Just nothing short of incredible. And again, I couldn't make a video like this talking about greatest hits without talking about La Nuit de L'Homme. This is going to be, of course, the OG, the Eau de Toilette. My silly, goofy, pathetic looking little 40 mil. Yeah, 40 mil. No, this is not all that I have. I've got a 200 mil bottle that I've put a heavy dent into. I've got a 100 mil edition art. I've got some more of it. You know, I have a lot of La Nuit de L'Homme basically. And this is a new batch. It is 38UD2EH, new batch. Still smells breathtaking. Still performs about the same as my 4-digit first edition launch year formulation of La Nuit de L'Homme. Don't get caught up in the ridiculous fretting of reformulation with this, because scent character-wise, there are some differences. Not to the point where you should spend $400 for a bottle of a vintage on eBay, but the big thing that people freak out about and pound holes into their basement walls about is performance, and that definitely has not really been affected all that much. It was never a beast mode performer to begin with. It just isn't that big of a deal. La Nuit de L'Homme, a true greatest hit, Hall of Fame masterpiece. Second to last, Bleu de Chanel, Eau de Toilette, grapefruit, incense, ginger, mint. Love it. I wear Bleu de Chanel often. I'll wear it when I'm hanging out in the house. I'll wear it when I'm going out, just whatever. If I'm feeling like I want something versatile and just an easy wear, I go with Bleu de Chanel. Usually the Parfum or the EDP. The EDT is my last pick. However, for this video, kind of similar to Sauvage, I wanted to include what started it in terms of the fragrance line. And in this instance, this is what started the blue fragrance trend. So you have this to thank for all of the blue fragrances that a lot of people are fed up with, and for good reason. There are a ton of them. I don't get super excited when one was released anywhere either, but at the end of the day, they're just not going to really stop until the money is dried up with it, and I think we're probably getting closer to that point, so it's, you know, not a bad thing. But Bleu de Chanel, it's a true iconic greatest hit that will go down in history as one of the most successful men's fragrances of all time. This line in general, the EDT and the EDP especially. And I wanted to end this one with Spicebomb Extreme. Now, you could look at this and go, well, should you put the Spicebomb EDT like you've done with some of these others, you know, the originator of the line? And yeah, you're probably right. Spicebomb EDT is, in fact, a Hall of Fame greatest hit. But its extreme flanker has done exceptionally well despite it being a flanker, and has been released well after the initial Spicebomb hype. You know, at least with Bleu de Chanel and Sauvage, they followed up with those pretty quick. You know, the brands are not stupid in that point where they're like, they see the money coming in, they see the hype, they see the buzz, and they're like, all right, let's kick some flankers out and let's keep the momentum going. Victor and Rolf really did not do that with Spicebomb. They didn't really start to ramp up flanker production until the last couple years. You know, we got Extreme a few years, several years after the original, and then they were quiet, and then Night Vision started pumping out, and then Infrared, and now I think there's an Infrared EDP or a Parfum or something like that, which I haven't even been able to try yet. So the point is, now they're going ham. They see the flanker money flowing, and now they want some of it. But it took them a while. And even though the Spicebomb hype kind of died off a little bit and it wasn't on fire when they released this, they've still managed to pump out a super successful one here. Tobacco, vanilla, black pepper. It is fantastic stuff, and I highly recommend it. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. 10 of the greatest hits when it comes to men's fragrances. These will all go down in history as some of the best things ever released, and I highly encourage you to check all of these out. To me, all of these are worth owning for their own reasons. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.